Hey, my name's Lachlan Burrows, and welcome to my position statement 2 for contemporary health issues in Australia. Before starting this topic, I was posed with a statement: who was most responsible for Australia's health? And initially, I thought the individual was mostly responsible for their health, and that's because they're responsible for all their behaviours that directly impact their health, such as their diet, sleep, and physical activity levels. They're also responsible to access healthcare services if they're available to them, and then also to act on that advice, not just go to the appointments. However, I did mention in this statement socioeconomic disadvantage as a social determinant that affects health outcomes, and this isn't entirely the individual's option. That's something that they're kind of born into with their families. This course has showed me that health is a dynamic concept. It encompasses physical, mental, social, and spiritual health. Health is a sliding scale, and the individual's status will vary with their age, surroundings, and activities during their life. Someone's health status can change in an instant after a significant event, like a fall for an elderly person and their physical health, or even a sudden passing of a family member for someone's mental and social health. Events such as these can have a substantial negative impact on someone's health status, no matter how good their health was to begin with. That's where it is important for a strong healthcare system to educate and treat the public to get them on the right path as early as possible. The knowledge among the health services industries for treatments, procedures, and public recommendations are constantly growing and changing. Therefore, it is important that when I look at data and reports, I need to make sure that this information I'm looking at is recent enough that it's not outdated. Over history, advancements such as penicillin and vaccines are enabling common diseases and illnesses to be treated more successfully. For example, while exploring data tables from the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, it showed that death rates for many common diseases such as coronary heart disease and diabetes have progressively become lower over the last 30 to 40 years or so, and this is the same with a lot of other common diseases. Now that I've finished this topic, my perspective on who is responsible for Australia's health has shifted. I can now hold the government and healthcare system with a lot more responsibility for an individual's health than I previously thought. While looking at the Australian Bureau of Statistics report from the National Health Survey in 2018, I was shocked to see how a poor status in practically every social determinant led to poorer health outcomes for a number of diseases I looked at. The correlation was too strong for me to stay with my initial opinion of individuals being mostly responsible for Australia's health. The government and healthcare system have the power to bring more equity into society by focusing resources into the areas that need them most. This starts by raising education levels in rural, remote, and low socioeconomic areas, as well as promoting further studies for all students. Increasing employment rates and access to healthcare services will also assist in better health outcomes. However, my current position is now a 50-50 split between the government and healthcare system and the individual. No matter what an individual's predisposition is based on their remoteness, socioeconomic status, etc., they still have a large amount of control about what direction they take with their health. That can go both ways. Someone with a poor predisposition can live a very healthy life, and also someone with a very good predisposition can end up living a very unhealthy life due to behavioural and other lifestyle factors that could lead to them developing some illnesses or diseases. One of the real eye-opening experiences I had that shifted my perspective on the original statement was the case study assignment. By looking at the 3 scenarios of cancer, asthma, and an unplanned pregnancy, it showed how important healthcare policies and services are and how essential they become to some people, sometimes when they least expect it. For these scenarios, the decisions they made or simply things that happened to them ended up having a significant effect in their outcome in terms of recovery or even mortality. Through this, I became aware of how important Medicare is in Australia. It makes healthcare services affordable for a society. As for many healthcare services, the majority of a population would not be able to afford the regular appointments needed to maintain and foster good health. The knowledge I have gained through this topic will help me in my career as a future health educator in secondary schools. The epidemiological data that I have come across will allow me to understand some of the potential diseases that my students may develop so that I can keep an eye on risk factors for these. I may also work in a rural remote area or in a low socioeconomic area, so it may be of more importance for me to educate these students thoroughly on healthy lifestyles to lessen their chance of developing some common chronic diseases, because prevention is always better than treatment. Overall, I've learned a lot of valuable information in this topic, especially on how the healthcare system operates, some of the patterns of illnesses, and the inequalities between some population groups. Finally, I believe it is equally the responsibility of the government and the healthcare system and the individual for Australia's health. Thank you.